Hey everybody, welcome to another World of Tanks replay. This time we're in the Firefly. Now the next couple of replays are going to be all from the Firefly, because I've been grinding it to try and get up to the Challenger and then up to the Charioteer. In addition, the Firefly has actually been quite good for getting some of the medium tank missions done. I'm up to medium tank 14 on the T28 heavy tank concept set, and hopefully I'll be able to knock them over soon and move on to the other classes. Platooned up with Southern Dandy in his KV2 this match, and we've ended up on the north spawn of South Coast. As with so many other matches on this map, I decide I will head down the east side. It's generally a pretty decent place to go in mediums from this spawn. You can attempt for middle, but it's a bit risky. The other side, the south spawn, has a much better shot at taking middle with mediums, and it can be quite dangerous if you're in a slower medium like the Firefly. Dandy comes along as well. Looks like actually most of our team is sticking to the eastern side of the map. We have very little covering the west. In fact, nothing covering the beach, which is quite rare. Puppies usually flock there. Got a bit of a train forming on this flank actually. I look for some shots here. Unfortunately, it's just not happening. And so I decide to push across this gap and see what I can get from there. Now, nothing's been spotted in the village yet, which is interesting. Usually at least one thing is pushed up there by now. And so I decide as I'm crossing here I'll take shots at the Sherman. Now, interesting thing to note, when you're moving at crawl speed, which is what happens when you tap R once, you have almost no aim bloom. It's as if you're stationary. And this may just be an old rumour which has since been dispelled, but I think back in the old days it used to be widely considered a fact that if you moved at crawl speed you didn't lose your stationary camo bonus. Now, that is probably wrong. It may never have been the case, it probably isn't now at any rate, but certainly your gun bloom reacts as if you're not moving. So it can be useful for when you're trying to poke around a corner. Obviously if you just lurch around the corner and snapshot, you have serious bloom to contend with. And I throw away most of my hit points carelessly here, but somehow get away with it. If you watch some of my very, very, very old videos, old NDB Clan Wars stuff from 2011, you can actually see me crawling around the corner of buildings in the first speed of cruise control. Both because we thought that we held camo when we did that, and also because it meant less gun bloom. It's a habit that I basically stopped, and in fact don't really do anymore. This is the first time I've done it in a long time, and it was simply because I wanted to shoot the Sherman, but I also didn't want to be sitting perfectly still out in the open. I wanted to move towards the other side of the gap. So it might be worth doing some science on that to see what the actual mechanics of it are. The jumbo that was giving me issues before is battleshipping. Gets cleaned up easily by the Firefly's relatively accurate, very high pen gun. And with this flank now thoroughly sanitized of enemy tanks, I decide to pop down through the middle of the map to help my team out there. Just shy of 1500 damage. Pretty low on hit points, but if you're careful, 150 hit points can go a long way. It's worth noting that the enemy had quite a scary arty lineup. Two Lefouffes and a 304 could do a lot of damage if they coordinated their fire. Thankfully they didn't, and so they had very little impact on the game whatsoever. head down hoping to catch the SU-100 and KV-1. I'm able to catch both of them, in fact. KV-1 randomly fires into the wall in front of him and goes down. And the SU-100 seems not to have his mini-map turned on because he hasn't even noticed me. In the process of turning to try and get into cover and get his gun around, he actually gives me an even clearer shot. And I know he's going to pop out sooner or later, so I just wait for him to do exactly that. I was worried he was going to get a hit into me there, but the 3001P behind me managed to clean him up, or ahead of me even. So, pretty cruisy game in the Firefly. That's what this tank tends to do. It'll either have a pretty poor game or a really, really good one. It's a bit like that. I really enjoy it. I think it's a very strong tier 6. Perhaps not the strongest tier 6 medium, but certainly a very, very good tank. And very, very good at swinging matches where it's bottom tier as well, because the 17-pounder gun does hurt tier 8s. Those hits add up very quickly. And with about 230 odd pen on the APCR, you can actually outpen a lot of the tier 8s. Obviously firing gold versus their silver. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.